turn this on. Okay, we are going to call the meeting to order at 5:04 p.m. All board members are present. And are there any public comments on closed session items? No public comments, so we will move into closed session at 5:05 p.m. We'll reconvene to open session at 6:16 p.m. And if we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
So we have a motion from Trustee Garrison and a second from Trustee Mendoza-Torres to approve the agenda. Preferential? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no one is absent. Sorry. Okay, so we'll move on to public items not on the open session agenda. Members of the public who wish to be heard by the board are asked to complete a public comment card online or in person prior to the meeting. Once recognized by the board president, speakers should come to the podium introducing themselves for the record before addressing the board. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker per topic unless modified by the board, and 20 minutes per topic unless the time is extended by the board president. Although no action shall be taken by the board on any item listed on the agenda, the board may briefly respond to statements made or questions posed. Additionally, a board or staff member may ask a question for clarification. If a member of the community wishes to distribute materials to the board, they will give materials to the board clerk for distribution. We may agree, but we will be respectful of each other. All comments will be directed to the issue at hand and addressed to the school board. Personal attacks are unacceptable. School board meetings are working meetings. Our meetings are intended to be safe and welcoming to the community while also serving the needs and priorities of the school district. We will listen to all comments and points of view with respect. We will treat each other and members of the public with respect and consideration regardless of differences in background, opinion, values, beliefs, race, age, identity, or language. All members of the public are expected to demonstrate the same respect and civility toward the board and each other. Sidebar or distracting audience conversations will be moved outside. The board must be able to conduct its business on behalf of the district. Per Government Code Section 54953.5, if members of the audience wish to film during the meeting, they must stand to the back or side of the audience so as not to block, interfere, or otherwise disrupt participation in and execution of the business of the meeting. This meeting is being recorded at the direction of the board. And with that, we will move to our public comments. And the first one I have is, is this for public comment, both of these? Okay. Kate Bria.
Good evening. My name is Kate Bria, and I am a paraprofessional at Cloverdale High School. Last Friday, I learned that Wendy Connor is leaving the high school at the end of the school year. This news was deeply disturbing and even more heartbreaking to know that she is leaving because of one person and their vendetta against her and her family. We all know that Wendy Connor is an exceptional teacher, and her contribution to CHS can be attested to by the many students she has taught over the years. She has given students the foundation they need to go to college and be successful. I am here tonight asking the school board to stop this horrible, hurtful, ongoing saga that is ruining people's lives and affecting the students and teachers. Cloverdale Unified School District is in crisis, and the school board needs to step up and do something before more damage is done. Our former superintendent was forced to leave because of the vitriol and lies that wore her down both physically and emotionally. Preston Addison has been a target of recall that is based on harassment and anger. Now Wendy Connor is leaving. Who will be next? Angela Cordova is on a rampage, and her anger is dangerous. To say that she is a bully isn't strong enough to describe what she is doing. I think a better description is character assassination. What have any of these people done to deserve this kind of personal attack? They are doing their jobs to the best of their ability, and they have a right to do it in an environment that is safe and free of stress. I'm not sure you're aware of the toll it takes on the students when we have new teachers year after year. Both the teacher and students suffer. Then the cycle of another teacher leaving creates another bad situation for the students. It becomes a revolving door of teachers coming and going. There is a poster around the campus at the high school which says, "Every day you have a choice and a chance." This is your moment to make a choice to do the decent thing, because I don't know how many more chances there are going to be. I hope the school board can find their voice and intervene in stopping this terrible situation. It is the decent thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Angela Cordova. Angela, can I please ask that you either pass your phone off to someone?
It's not
for
in the way.
filming?
I asked you to email my attorney what your request was so we can have a chance to review it. But my intention tonight was to thank the board for finding a superintendent and taking their time to do that, and not hiring Ronnie Goyle because she's superb, excellent, wonderful for Cloverdale High School. But now gears have shifted because of Kate's lies, bottom line. Our district was in turmoil because we had a horrible superintendent. She was rotten. She was a liar. She caused a lot of problems here. Nobody did a background check on her, and if you did, you overlooked it. Preston Addison's facing his recall because of his behavior, his disrespect towards his community. And the list goes on. You're unethical, and you know that, and you as well, Jackie, you're unethical as well. And I didn't even come here tonight to deal with either one of you. I came to thank all of you about the new superintendent. But it's not going to stop if you think that, you know, Kate has any influence or wants to name call or think that I'm a bully of some sort. No, I speak up, and I stand for what's right. And what the two of you have done is wrong, period. Wrong. There's no other word for it. So no, I'm not going to stop. And as far as your wife leaving, she's going out on a leave. So where's the paperwork that says she's going out on the stress leave? She's bullied. If she walked in this room, I wouldn't even know who she was, Preston. I wouldn't even have the slightest clue who she was. I've never had a conversation with her. I've never seen her. I don't even know who she is. So for you to say that she's bullied, I think you're crying out to the community so you don't get recalled. And if you think by any chance that she's going to have 300 or 400 people walk out for her like Luchetti did, think again. He was an icon. That man was this heart of this community for all of our students. You wouldn't know about that because you're mean and you're a bully. And you bully your board and you bully your employees and you bully other people. And that's sad. You should look at that. 1,800 people agreed with that. 1,800 people signed your recall. That's sad. You should think about that. Really. Maybe take some therapy or something. Do something for yourself. But as far as my community, I'll continue to speak up. And if you don't like it, don't listen. I respect your opinion, respect mine. Unfortunately, you all made it this way.
Thank you. Moving on to our closed session reportable action taken. The board took the following action in closed session. The board voted unanimously to approve the following certificated staff 1.0 FTE Jefferson special ed teacher effective March 15th, 2023. 1.0 FTE Washington 5th through 8th temporary expanded learning opportunities site-based teacher on special assignment effective July 1, 2023. And a 1.0 FTE at Jefferson School temporary teacher student support effective July 1, 2023. 2023-24 employment agreements, the chief business official, director of curriculum and instruction, 2 psychologists, high school principal, vice principal. Resignations, elementary school principal effective June 30th, 2023. 0.60 FTE arts and digital media teacher effective June 10th, 2023. And the CHS cheer coach effective June 10th, 2023. Certificated unpaid leave of absence, 1.0 FTE English teacher, 1.0 FTE elementary teacher, classified probationary release, 6 hours a day preschool director. The motion was made by trustee Garrison and seconded by myself, trustee Lopez White. And moving on to the consent calendar, is there anything that needs to be pulled, or can I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion by trustee Garrison to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
A second by trustee Candelaria Orr. Preferential? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And no one is absent. And then moving on to our discussion action item, J1, consideration and possible approval of addendum to lease-leaseback agreement for Washington School Gymnasium and Jefferson School Classroom building projects to include the Washington School Bus turnout.
Thank you. We thought Kevin was here to
I
present.
just saw
He
him.
just stepped out.
Kevin was just here to present, so I will take over. Thank you, Kevin, for showing, but I'll take it. We're looking at addendum to make some changes with the Washington School bus, actually add a Washington School bus turnout and some fencing and some other items, and it's a total cost not to exceed $350,000. The gym is a great addition to that site. We're looking to tie up some things.
Anything else on that?
No, and I don't know where Kevin is.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a little information. If the board has questions.
Is
I
everyone
can
okay with
work
moving
on
to the
this.
next item real quick before, and when Kevin comes back? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
make a motion to take it out of order.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. Do I have a second to take it out of order?
I'll second.
Okay. Preferential? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no one is absent. Okay, so we will move on real quick to J2, consideration and possible approval of the home-to-school transportation plan.
Nicole Dell and Patty Mills. Nicole's curriculum instruction, and Patty, our CBO, will be sharing the presentation, looks like, on this one.
Thank you. So I wanted to give you a brief background behind the transportation plan. About a year and a half ago, there was some legislation that was coming out that was going to require all school districts to provide transportation for all students, regardless of distance. And there was a very large outcry because, as you probably know, there's not enough school bus drivers in the state or in the nation to cover that. So initially, it was supposed to happen in 2 years, and they kept pushing it back. And then they decided that this was the next best thing to start, which was to require a home-to-school plan for all districts that would need to be approved by April 1st of 2023. The home-to-school plan is not how are we requiring transportation for students, but how are we prioritizing transportations for our TK through 6th grade, and how are we ensuring that pupils that are low income, students with disabilities, or foster and homeless are ranked first on how we proceed to give them transportation. So in response, you are supposed to write a plan, which you see before you, that responds to this. So what steps are we currently doing, and how are we moving forward to try to prioritize those transportation needs? So our plan includes our board policy, which is pretty standard across the state, that elementary students, K-3, if they're more than 3/4 of a mile from the school site, that they are eligible for transportation. Grades 4 through 8, more than 1 mile are eligible for transportation, and grades 9 through 12, 2 miles or more are eligible for transportation. The key word there is eligible, and then it's how do you prioritize what transportation you have. We currently only have one bus route, and the stops that we have been coordinated through the LCAP process and looking at where our homes and subdivisions are, where our students are located, to determine what's the best hub spots to pick up students. And with the fact that our TK through 3 are only 3/4 of a mile, we prioritize our elementary school, which goes up to 4th grade, for those pickup stops. Currently, we are only serving those students from TK to 4th grade on our hub route. And we know that this is a difficult burden, and we're not meeting that TK through 6 prioritizing. So we put together a plan. We have met with several of our stakeholders, with TAC, with CSEA, with our transportation coordinator, and our MOT, and our admin. And what we have decided to do was to prepare for the possibility of a second bus driver. So there's a lot that goes into designing a bus route. You have to analyze where our students live. What is the best timing for that route to be able to get them to school on time? Is there what we call red light stops that have to be approved by CHP? So what we're doing is we are looking at how would we design that second bus route if we have a driver, and adjusting our budget to fit that plan, as well as starting to talk about how do we advertise for a bus driver. Many districts right now are providing stipends for either training or a bonus when they sign on. So we're going to be working through that kind of conversation in preparing to go through this. I'm going to have Patty talk about the money, but I also want you to know that we are now required to bring this back every year. So what you approve now, we will be revising for next April 1st again. So it's not a one and done. So if we get a bus driver, or we've got the plan in place, we'll come back and revise this.
Hello. So with the legislation that brought about the need for a transportation plan, it's also enabling districts to receive additional funding to help implement that. So they basically have a formula where they took prior year expenditures, and we're receiving an estimated 40% of that. So our estimation in dollars at this point is $76,064 that we'll be receiving in addition to our other transportation funds that we receive in the LCFF calculator. The other piece that you have to provide for this plan is your current year expenditures. And our prior year total expenditures, $258,000. This year, our budgeted expenditures, we're not quite all the way through our year, is at $530,000. We've had an inflated cost with our non-public placements and our county placements for some of our students that we have to rely, or had to rely, on a contracted service for those for the majority of the year. So that is definitely inflated this year. Our average year is looking more like that 258 year. So we feel that we've now hired two drivers to drive out of county placements, or out of city limit placements, I should say, into county placements. And we're looking at hiring a third for our final route there, which that will bring those contracted services costs down tremendously. But in the movement of dollars, it does allow for that additional position of a bus driver to be able to make that second route happen. So now it's just simply hiring and retaining a driver. So we're hopeful, and again, this plan will come back annually, so we'll tweak it, we'll look at it, it'll evolve over time. as this all rolls out. Any questions?
Does Cloverdale seem to be like an anomaly in having trouble hiring for busing, or is it all
No,
districts across the
It is
board?
definitely statewide, if not nationwide. Yeah, it's just a really incredibly impacted occupation, if you will.
It's nationwide, and with COVID, with all bus routes pretty much stopping, there's a lot of drivers that left the field, or we didn't bring people on. And it's a very comprehensive process to get your bus driver license. There's a physical, there's the fingerprinting, there's the drug test, there's multiple driving tests, there's a CHP interview. In my experience at previous districts, we get people partway through, and they can't pass the test, or they find, we had one that had a heart problem they didn't know about, but on the physical it showed up and they can't drive kids because of it. So it's a multi-step project that can take a while. They have to have so many classroom hours and on-the-road hours as well. So it's difficult, and then it's a split timing usually. Shift, thank you. You have morning and afternoon. So some districts, they've pieced together an 8-hour day so that someone would be more likely to take the full-time job. But in addition, we are going to get passes for any 5th or 6th graders that need a bus pass, so that they can ride the bus for free as a stopgap measure as well to help them get to Washington if need be.
I guess the only other, it says we'll review it or revise it every April. And is the routes part of that plan, does that have to be in there and it's set, or can that be interchangeable throughout the year based on needs?
With bringing back the hub route, it has been kind of a set route only because it's based on, again, neighborhoods, populations within those
Right.
neighborhoods. But definitely that should be an area that we evaluate. And as new neighborhoods are being built.
That's my
so on
question,
and so
just
forth.
as the new developments
Yeah.
pop up and when they're starting to be habitated and
We could have
depending
a full shift, sure. And I think that's another crucial piece of it to make it truly effective.
Thank you. Is there any more questions? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Kevin is back.
I see that. Is there any more discussion amongst the board on that topic? If not, can I get a motion to approve the home-to-school transportation plan?
I'll move to approve.
A motion by trustee Garrison to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
A motion, or a second by trustee Mendoza Torres. Preferential? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no one is absent. So we will go back to J1 now that Kevin is back for the the approval of the addendum to the lease-leaseback agreement for Washington School Gymnasium and Jefferson School Classroom Building projects to include the Washington School Bus Turnout Project.
Thank you. I didn't realize I was gone. So. Good evening. Had a beautiful drive up this evening. It's always nice to come to Cloverdale when it's not raining or flooded across the Vallejo Causeway. It's quite an interesting drive home. But thank you for the opportunity. Van Pelt always appreciates the work here at Cloverdale. And thank you to the board and everybody here to help us finish our projects over the last couple of years. We have a few items left remaining. This particular item tonight is a addendum to the lease-back for Wright. This is directed towards the Washington utility connections that we may have some work once we finalize the lot line, etc. And also the fence and gates that we've also revised or added to the project, and little miscellaneous projects like a window in the district office, etc., etc. So this addendum covers all those items, and it's in addition to the $500,000 that we already have there. So I don't see a need to come back to the board. The main thing now is just to get the lot line adjustment through the city and our title company, and it looks like this will be a summer project at this stage, because then we have to go into DSA. So it'll probably disappear into DSA for 8 weeks or so, but I would think we would be able to complete this project throughout the summer and be ready for the August school start.
Any questions? Any discussion? No. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is no discussion or any more questions. Can I get a motion to approve item J1?
Move to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Addison to approve,
I'll second.
and a second by trustee Candelaria Orr. Preferential? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And no one is absent. And that brings us to J3, the oral recommendation regarding salary and/or fringe benefits for superintendent. And as everyone knows, we've been in a search for the new permanent superintendent. We held interviews, and we have made a decision, and I am here now. I will make the oral recommendation of the board regarding salary and/or fringe benefits as a salary amount of $215,000 yearly plus $1,000 per advanced degree, and fringe benefits including medical, dental, vision, and life insurances as provided to certificated management with district contribution based on a tiered structure of $13,000 yearly for employee only, $15,000 yearly for employee plus one, and $17,000 for employee plus family, and a personal property allowance of $400 per month. Is there any discussion? Do we have any discussion on the oral
It's
recommendation?
just
Next
your
item.
recommendation.
Okay, perfect. With that, we will move on to J4. Sorry, I don't do this
That's
very
okay.
often. So now we will move on to J4, consideration and possible approval of superintendent employment agreement. So, still me. So on March 3rd and 4th, 2023, the Board of Trustees interviewed candidates for the superintendent position. The board made a contingent offer to a candidate pending reference and background checks. The selection process is complete and the terms of the contract were discussed during the previous agenda item, including salary, benefits, and any other compensation or fringe benefits. Due to the executive level of the position, the board must now take action on this contract in a regularly scheduled board meeting. Would it be a, I don't want to throw him on the spot, but.
I would. Mr. Sinistro is here tonight, Glenn and his wife Sarah. Before the vote, I just want to make sure, people are wondering who you are in that suit there, so kind of wondering. And I would say that Glenn grew up in a town close to where I grew up, and I won't say the name because we don't say that name, but after they vote you in, I just want to say welcome to the district. It's a good district. I think you'll enjoy it, and you'll enjoy the nice weather compared to Humboldt County also. Welcome aboard.
So with that, is there any discussion, any questions? Student board rep, do you have any questions?
No, I'm
Okay.
happy to hire you.
And with that, can I get a motion?
I move to approve.
We have a motion by trustee Garrison to approve the superintendent employment agreement.
I'll second.
And a second by trustee Candelaria Orr. Preferential? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no one is absent. Officially welcome on.
Yes.
Say a
Welcome.
few words, Glenn. A few words, yes.
I'm really down because I haven't done this before, so. First of all, I'll just say thanks to everybody. I'm excited for the opportunity. I appreciate your confidence and trust in me. But as we all know, it's the staff that makes a district successful, right? So I think we're fortunate here to have a really good staff in the district, and I'll just continue to give them support that is needed to continue their excellent work. And, again, we're totally humbled to be able to be chosen, and, It just happens to be really nice today, so it's really nice to get out of Humboldt County for a little bit. So just a little bit about me. I'm currently the superintendent at Fortuna Union High School District. I've been there for about my 13th year as superintendent. I grew up in Fortuna, and so it's going to be a new adventure, but I'm really excited. There's a lot of similarities between Fortuna and Cloverdale, so I'm excited. So again, I appreciate it very much, and I would just say that we have to head back home tonight. It's 3 hours, so we're probably going to skedaddle here pretty soon, but it's no disrespect. I'm just, like to get home before it becomes tomorrow. But thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
And with that we have future agenda items on our calendar. We have master planning, Alexander Valley Healthcare, student concerns, board policy 5111, TK and K admissions, board policy and administrative regulation 6158, independent study. Do we need to add anything else? No, and with that, we are at our future board meeting dates. April 19th, whereas our next regular board meeting at 6 p.m. And can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:46 p.m.?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, a motion by trustee Garrison and a second by trustee Addison to adjourn the meeting at 6:46 p.m. Preferential? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And no one is absent.